Over the past 5 years, gas and electricity prices for household and commercial consumers have more than doubled. The big five energy corporations that produce our oil and gas have made billions of pounds extra in super profits. And yet the only response we've had from central government is to allow the completely inadequate price cap regime to continue, whilst handing out the occasional meagre amount of subsidies to consumers, which of course does nothing to curb the massive profits of the energy corporations. They say there's no real alternative other than to expand expensive and possibly dangerous nuclear power and to continue importing enormous amounts of gas and oil from other parts of the world, including the Middle East and the United States of America. And yet there is an alternative. I'm standing here next to the Severn estuary, which has the second highest tides of anywhere in the world. In fact, the potential of tidal power here is sufficient, 7 terawatt hours if you want to be technical. It's sufficient to supply 5 million homes. That's not just the whole of South Wales, but also if the projects that we were to invest in involved our neighbours over the water, it would also supply several million homes in the west of England as well, and at much lower cost than current energy prices, and certainly at lower cost than nuclear power. It would create, constructing any one of the schemes would create thousands of jobs, up to 35,000 according to one recent project. But all we've had is more than 100 years of commission of inquiries, of studies, of feasibility studies and projects and so on. Not a penny has been invested into actually creating a generation scheme. And yet we could have a barrage, we could have tidal lagoons, we could have underwater turbines. There are a whole variety of possibilities. Canada, France and other countries have shown how investment in this kind of tidal power can produce enormous amounts of electricity cheap. But of course also, one reason why no scheme has actually started ever is because our governments, successive governments and powerful vested interests want to make sure that only private corporations would gain the benefit from a Severn estuary energy scheme. The Communist Party, on the other hand, is also very clear. Privatisation has been an enormous rip-off, and yet we could have public investment in a publicly owned project here in Wales that would produce enormous amounts of cheap and efficient and green electricity. That's why the Communist Party is prioritising this issue in its campaigning for the Senedd elections on May the 7th, and we hope that people will read our manifesto, Real Power for the People of Wales, and you can see that we have a whole number of original and practical ideas for boosting the Welsh economy, creating many more jobs, but also ensuring that we have green development of our enormous energy resources here in Wales.